Cards to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium and the Adventure Begins, located on 1488, right next to a big old movie theater. I'm Chaz Graves, and here with me today, Preston Laird and Mark Blair.
All right, thanks, Chaz, as always, for that introduction. I'm here with Preston. I'm Mark. This is Cards to Yards, presented by Adventure Begins Comics and Games. We're coming to you live from Adventure Stadium, the daughter store, which is an awesome place to come and check out. Come rip open some packs during this football playoff season. Preston, it's getting nuts out there.
It certainly is, man. What another incredible weekend of football. Holy moly. I mean, it's like, what is this, 6 games in a row? It's come down to the wire pretty much. I mean, it's unheard of as far as playoff football goes.
Yeah, it's been a dream as far as the way the brackets are working out. But, you know, stuff doesn't always work out for everybody. And I want to start the show off. There's a couple of icons that missed the Hall of Fame. We talked about this a few weeks ago, how there was a big voting deadline coming up. Well, the Hall of Fame voters, you know, they vote, and then last week they announced who got in. It was only one person, Big Papi, David Ortiz. He got in, despite being on, you know, that PED list right when he came in to the league. Suspended for that at least once, I believe. But
yes,
the big thing was this was the 10th year, which is the final year of eligibility for Barry Bonds, Clemens, and Curt Schilling.
Yep.
Were you surprised at all that neither of the three got in?
No, not surprised. Perhaps a little disappointed. There's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on when it comes to the steroid era in baseball. You know, what really sticks with me is it's arguably, and really not even that really much of a weak argument, to be honest. It's a strong argument that the steroid era in the 90s was hands down the most exciting, most thrilling, amazing time to ever be a baseball fan. And the steroid issue is a real touchy subject. I understand that. But at the same time, what it brought to the game of baseball cannot be denied. I mean, it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was really the beginning of the modern sports card era becoming what it is today, because up until that point, you didn't see $1 million sports cards or $1 million memorabilia baseballs and things of that nature, at least not for the last 30 years up to that point. And, you know, when McFarland came in and started buying the McGuire home run balls and the Sosa home run balls for $2 million, $3 million, and everyone was tuning in every week to see this, you know, race for the home run title, you just can't tell me that that was not the most enjoyable time to ever be a baseball fan. So I really have a hard time with the Hall of Fame, their parameters, their judgment, whatever you want to call it. And the fact that David Ortiz got in is where the hypocrisy comes from, because yeah, he did test positive for enhanced, you know, drugs and such, but yet he's so beloved by everybody, and I think he's been out of the spotlight for so long when it comes to, you know, his playing. That's why he got in. I mean, you know, he's a broadcaster, he's well loved. He was mistakenly shot in his home country, which I don't think hurt his cause, to be honest with you. But yeah, I would love to see Bonds and Clemens and all the other guys that I think really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, regardless of what, you know, they were putting in their bodies at the time. Because you know darn well that half of MLB baseball was probably doing the same thing. So they just happened to get caught. And that's how I feel about the subject. It's unfortunate, I think. It's kind of along the lines with Pete Rose, you know. I understand what Pete Rose did was wrong. It was really an embarrassment to the game, but at the same time, you cannot deny the history and what all of these guys have brought to the game, and I think that they deserve to be recognized for that.
It's a double-edged sword, to be sure. You have a lot of sports writers that are voting on this, and sometimes people think that they're abusing their power, but it's sort of like any system that we have set in place. You have to like play within the rules. Big Papi has a sparkling personality, great relationship with the media. The other three do not.
Yes.
And they did not help their cause any. And one in particular, Schilling, hurt his cause a lot.
Yes.
Almost like every chance he could. And he actually dropped to, I think, like 58%. You need 75% to get in. So definitely no unanimous decisions this year. I think Big Papi skated in with like 77%.
Yeah.
Bonds was around 71% when it was said and done. Just a shame because Bonds is the best offensive player of his generation.
Yep.
One of the best all-around players of all time. And like you said, that whole era, one, there's conspiracies that baseball was in on it. So they obviously wouldn't want that to be uncovered. But the other thing was it went from, baseball's always been a part of the American culture, but that's when it took it to pop culture. Like you said, Tom McFarlane, who's the creator of Spawn. So you had a comic book writer, one who was a millionaire, which was amazing at the time.
Yep.
One of the founders of Image, and the biggest name in comics, minus maybe like Stan Lee and Jim Lee.
Yep.
Just taking it to the forefront, like you said, buying the ball for $1 million, and just the way that McGuire and Sosa in particular became, the SNL appearances, nightly appearances, everything, likes of which we had never seen before. I think, with Bonds, even if you ding some of his numbers, he still gets in easily. And
Absolutely.
and then Clemens, he's a pitcher. And I understand that steroids can also be used to heal and make you, go longer than you normally would without it. But I don't think that he was, juiced out that was affecting the placement of his fastball.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
Because
anything,
he was very dominant a decade before any of that ever came to light. So.
And but don't worry, because if you've been enjoying them sweating it out for 10 years, another guy just started. He'll be sweating it out for a decade. That's A-Rod. I knew A-Rod wasn't going to get in.
Yeah.
But wow, 34%. He's in for a long 10 years.
Yep.
Collector wise, do you care about a player's Hall of Fame status? I know that was one of the things that was a big pop during that pandemic rush we had last year. But what do you think that does to, I guess, the trading card legacy of Clemens and Bonds?
In the trading card industry, when it comes to Bonds and Clemens and McGuire, they still hold a lot of value in their rookie cards. So long term, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect on the overall value of their collectibles. Perhaps in the short term, a little bit, but there's still a huge demand for those players and memorabilia and cards. So just a minimal amount is what I'm thinking as far as the Hall of Fame goes. Of course, Hall of Fame is always going to increase the value of players once they're inducted. But just considering the whole scope of the situation with MLB baseball and the steroid era, I don't think that it's going to have a tremendous effect being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and speaking of cards and card value, just one more bit of industry news before we get to football and the impending Super Bowl. eBay did something very interesting. They have launched a card certification program. This applies to raw cards that sell for more than $750. And when I read this, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a logistical nightmare, but also it's a fantastic idea.
Yep.
Where essentially if you purchase a raw card off eBay, to ensure that it's not counterfeit, which I'm sure has happened a lot, given that there was one card sale per second in 2021, which was insane. They will basically send it off to the Certified Collectibles Group, which is parent company of the card grading portion of them, CSG. They ensure the authenticity. They won't be encapsulating it, but they will run it through their microscopes or whatever they do, ensure it's put a sticker on it, and then send it to the collector. So let's say you buy a card for $1,000, it's raw. eBay is claiming within 1 to 2 days of it getting to their facility, it will be shipped out. I don't think that's going to happen because there's a lot of sales. However, not a whole lot of people buy raw cards for that value, but it's great. I would. Here's what I would suggest though. If you want to bypass those extra shipping days, bring your cards to Adventure Stadium, because you guys have a partnership with a card grader, right?
That's right. Yeah, HGA. We're always accepting submissions to HGA, and we've got 3 service levels: 5, 15, and 40 days. So yeah, we'd be happy to get your cards certified and slabbed and all that good stuff.
And I think whomever your grader of choice is, it's a good idea to get cards certified.
Absolutely.
Because then you bypass all this. You have trust with your customer.
Yeah.
But I will say I commend them. I was kind of shocked. They have this for a few other items: watches, purses, and shoes. The shoe value, they have to authenticate anything over $100. No idea. Had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Purses $500 and watches couple hundred. But
yeah, well, in a way, I think it's a good idea. In another way, I think it's a little convoluted, because the majority of your cards, especially if they're an autographed card that's $750 or above, is already going to be certified from the manufacturer. They're going to have, certification holograms and such on the card itself. There'll be written information saying that this was witnessed and all that good stuff. So I don't see it being needed for every single card that's $750 and above, but there are going to be some that do require it, that are not autographed cards that have certifications already built in. And eBay actually said that, and it states very clearly when they sent out the flyer on this, that for now, this service is complimentary. So what that tells me is that eBay is saying, okay, we're going to give you guys a little bit of this free goodie, and then, in a couple of months, then we're going to start hammering you guys with certification fees. So speaking of double-edged swords, I think this is another double-edged sword, and only time will tell if it's going to be a long-term success. But I do have my doubts about it. We'll see what happens.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's sort of like free samples at HEB or Sam's Club.
Yeah, right.
They're trying to get you hooked and pay for the full meal, as it were. So let's get to Super Bowl. Super Bowl 56 coming up. Not a surprise to you at all, but the Bengals advance from the AFC side.
Yes.
And I think not really a surprise to anyone, the Rams advance from NFC. So the Rams are going to have a chance to be the second team to win at home.
Yep.
Tampa Bay Tom Brady's were the first to do so.
What are the odds that we're looking at that 2 years in a row? I mean,
crazy.
It's just mind-boggling that this can happen 2 years in a row. So, but personally, I think Cincinnati's going to take it. Go ahead.
Okay, so about your beloved Bengals now. So they defeated Kansas City 27-24 in overtime. When you were watching that, Kansas City wins the coin toss. Are you thinking, oh, this is just a repeat of last week and we're going to have more overtime controversy and people are going to be complaining about both teams should get the ball regardless of scoring a touchdown? And then, 14 seconds in, Mahomes throws an interception?
Yeah. I mean, we've been on the other side of that as Houston fans, being way up on Kansas City and then falling after being up 24 points. So my heart doesn't ache a lot for Patty Mahomes. I love him as a player. He's tremendous, but he is human, and certainly unexpected from Pat Mahomes when it comes to giving the game away in a sense. So yeah, I mean it's kind of nice though to see the shoe on the other foot and let us get a taste of what it's like for some other teams to actually get to the Super Bowl. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup a lot.
And also on the Chiefs side of things, the defensive side of things specifically, I think they might have been the only people that knew not to stop Jamar Chase.
Right.
Because the announcers, they kept saying it over and over. They would get so excited, oh, Jamar Chase is in single coverage, or oh, he's just in double coverage. Stop. I understand across the board the receivers had a great day.
Yeah.
But the Burrow to Jamar Chase been unstoppable in the playoffs, and I think
Kansas City coaching staff didn't get the memo, evidently.
They didn't.
That Jamar Chase is going to probably be Rookie of the Year and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, kind of an odd game, really, because the beginning you're thinking, oh, wow, this is, it's just going to be another dominating playoff performance by Kansas City. And, they clawed their way back and gave themselves a chance to win, and that's what happened. So,
absolutely. They were down 18, but, of course, Burrow is been just proving there's no sophomore slump for him.
No.
Getting better and better each
Yep.
game, if not each possession. He was the NFL's completion percentage leader and yards per attempt leader. That really showed at the end of
Phenomenal.
the game there. And we have to give a shout out to the kicker, cold-blooded
Yeah.
Evan McPherson. I mean, already most postseason field goals for a rookie in NFL history is already in double digits.
Yep.
I was telling you earlier, there's prop bets about him being MVP and probably 150, 250 to 1 or whatever. But he could be the first.
Be worth throwing 10
Could be
bucks
the
out
first Super Bowl MVP kicker. We'll see. But yeah.
And as a result of this incredible run by Cincinnati, Joe Burrow is one of the hottest sports cards ever right now in the market. I mean, his stuff is just going through the roof every day. It's going up, and Jamar Chase. So just on one team, you've got really two of the probably top three most hot commodities in the sports card world right now. So super exciting time for Cincinnati and Cincinnati fans and sports card fans.
Yeah, and this will be their third Super Bowl appearance. They never won one. Of
Yep.
course, been involved in a couple of famous ones. But
I'm old enough to remember Kenny Burrow and all that good stuff.
oh yeah, and so Cincinnati fans are going to be going nuts basically for the next 2 weeks. So now on the other side of things, Rams probably not surprisingly hold off the 49ers, but it was close.
Yeah.
2017,
Closer than I thought.
very close. And obviously people are kind of looking forward to seeing that Rams defense and what they can do, putting pressure on Burrow, who's already had 9 sacks against them last week in the playoffs. So now again, they're going to have the home field advantage. The halftime show is going to rock with Dr. Dre and Snoop. It's going to be going crazy in LA. I mean,
Dude.
they got to be on top of the world right now.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have never looked forward to a halftime show as much as I am looking forward to
It's
this
going to be
year.
awesome.
I mean, who doesn't love all that stuff? I cannot wait. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, obviously, Rams defense carried them through. They win 2017. I didn't expect, all of a sudden, I was like, oh, good for you, 49ers. You overachieved. Great job. Garoppolo, you won a playoff game in Green Bay. Great job. Apparently, they're on the outs.
Yeah.
Garoppolo and 49ers are kind of like, well, I think it's time for us to part ways. He's still got a year left on his contract, but they have Trey Lance waiting in the wings, and Garoppolo's sort of demanding to be traded to a better team.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking, dude, you understand how the playoffs work, right? You were in the Final Four.
Yeah.
What is your version of a better team? And what he also doesn't understand, do you think any of the better teams, any of the other teams that made the playoffs, do you think they want to replace their quarterback? Nope. And what, would you swap out Tannehill for Garoppolo if you're Miami, or if you're Tennessee?
No way.
And what would be the point of that?
Yeah, I agree. They're one play away from being in the Super Bowl. So kind of a ridiculous statement to say he wants to go to a good team, because he has been on a good team and he's been very inconsistent. He's been good at times, but he's got only himself to blame. Look in the mirror and figure it out, dude.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the draft around the corner in April, but kind of odd, because I'm just thinking as someone who's followed sports a long time, the teams that are in the playoffs are good because they have a quarterback. And so I don't know what void would fill.
The good thing about this all is the Texans are not a good team, so we don't have to look forward to him coming here. Thankfully.
Yeah, we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about that. Another quarterback you might have heard of, and used to be Garoppolo's mentor and the guy he rode the bench behind with the Patriots. Tom Brady retires.
Yep.
Not really shocking per se, given his age and how long he's been in the league now, but it was kind of just weird couple of days, because they were like, "Oh, Tom Brady retires." He's like, "Well, I haven't said anything yet, and I haven't informed the team. The team didn't know."
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to focus on other stuff." So, what do you think?
The timing was odd. It really kind of caught me off guard. It wasn't like a shock that he's retiring, but it was the timing that was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a surprise. And the fact that when he finally did make a statement, it was a little bit of a sur he thanked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and did not even mention New England. So there's some bad blood between New England and Tom Brady. That's, I think, blatantly obvious. I think it's a shame that when he made a statement that you couldn't thank the organization that gave you the chance to come into the league, but who knows what's going on between him and those guys over there in the front office in New England. But yeah, I mean, what else? What can you say? We could talk about Tom Brady for 3 hours straight if we wanted to. People will be talking about him well after you and I are gone from this planet. Just a phenomenal athlete, one of the greatest athletes to ever, play sports in any arena. Much less football, which I think is the hardest sport out there, other than golf, perhaps. But yeah, just a tremendous career. A lot of things to reflect on. Records that will probably never be broken. I would say 90% of what he's done will never be broken. However, with the additional game that we have now in the NFL, it may be a little bit more attainable than perhaps what we think at this time. We'll see in another 10 or 12, 15 years when the Burrows and the Herberts are starting to get towards their retirement and see where they're at. But man, Tom Brady, what he's done for the sport and sports in general, just phenomenal. He'll be remembered forever.
People are already looking to his Hall of Fame speech so much, I think they should just waive the waiting time.
Yeah, I agree.
Waive the 5-year wait time.
Yeah.
Just put him in, let him talk for 3 hours. Again, we could wax poetic about the dude for hours, but I want to give couple fun facts.
Yep.
So obviously the only NFL player to have 7 Super Bowl rings, which, by the way, he gave the Patriots 6 Super Bowls, so I think that's thanks enough for whatever he ever said.
Yeah.
Now whether is it kind of weird that you don't mention that team? Probably, but I mean he's a different type of dude too. Outside of football, only 7 athletes have ever had 7 championships in the 4 major American sports.
Yep.
4 of those were Yankees: Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle. Of course, the obvious one, Bill Russell, who has enough rings, for more fingers than the human body has. So
right.
And then Jean Bellevue from NHL also had 7. That's crazy.
What about Robert Horry? Did he have 7?
I don't.
Or 6?
Probably 6.
Okay, I think it was 6.
Yeah.
For a role player.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll never happen again.
Big Shot Bob.
Yeah, Big Shot Bob.
The other fun fact, I'm just really throwing this out there just to stick it to Dallas Cowboy fans. But there was 5 teams that never beat Brady. They were combined 0-27 against them.
Yep.
It was the Bucks, the Patriots, Vikings, Falcons, and the Dallas Cowboys.
That does not hurt my feelings one bit.
No. So at least those 5 teams. Well, Tampa Bay's probably not, but the other 4 teams probably glad to see him retire. Maybe not the Patriots. We don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Now on to another legend who has not yet retired, who was going to retire 6 weeks ago. Real quick, we don't talk about tennis a lot, but this was a big deal. Rafael Nadal had this incredible win at the Australian Open. He wins his record 21st Grand Slam. He was tied with Federer and Djokovic at 20. Djokovic's going through some stuff. You can read about it, but
Pieces and all that good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and so he wasn't participating in the Australian Open. Federer's had injuries. Nadal, literally 6 weeks ago, was like, oh, should I hang it up? And then he comes in, he beats Daniel Medvedev to win the Australian Open, second longest final in Grand Slam history. And so for anyone who's like, I can't really get into tennis, if you watch a final like that, you'll be into tennis.
Absolutely.
Like, it was an awesome back and forth. It was insane. He was down 2-0. He looked done. He looked like he would just ready to retire right after that match. He was 35 years old, like down 2 sets. He is the first player since 1965, that's 57 years ago, to come back and win the Australian Open after being down 2-0 in the final.
Yeah.
Legend. And also just in men's tennis in general, you have 3 of the best players playing at the same time: Nadal, Federer, Djokovic.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I mean, I love Nadal. I've always loved watching him play. He is a clay court specialist first and foremost. So whenever I see him win on the hard courts, especially at this age, just a tremendous accomplishment. This guy, absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to see him play. I got to see Agassi and some other guys back in their heydays, but yeah, Djokovic is probably my favorite current player. I just love his style. He's so consistent, just an amazing athlete. But yeah, we've got to witness a really nice 15 years or so of some dominant tennis by the big three, as you just mentioned. So congrats, Nadal. Fantastic job. Hopefully you got a few more tournaments left in you before you call it quits.
And because we are a card show, I'm just pleading someone, Fanatics, Upper Deck, Tops, Panini, I don't care. Make a tennis set.
Yeah, I agree.
Make an awesome tennis set. Prism or something.
NetPro, pretty much the only tennis product that's out there for collectibles and collectors. But yeah, I think we need more tennis product. I think there's enough players out there that they could fill a set, and I don't understand why no one's jumped on it yet. So yeah, somebody out there listening, jump on the tennis product because it's hot.
Just it's phenomenal what he's been able to accomplish, and we'll see. I'm sure Federer and Djokovic will either catch him or pass him up, but we'll see. You never know.
I think Djokovic. I think Federer is towards the end of his career.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have it like he did before. But I think Djokovic still has some years left in him. So I think Djokovic is the most realistic chance to overtake him.
And look, everyone's pumped up about Super Bowl 56 and football, and World Cup is coming up. The men are nearing the end of their qualifying. Something cool happened in soccer. We just want to throw it out there. Anyone who collects cards probably remembers the just pop culture explosion that was Dennis Rodman. Mm-hmm. Well, his daughter, Trinity Rodman, has become the highest paid player in NWSL history. She's only 19. She was already Rookie of the Year, led her team to the championship. Her deal is worth $1.1 million. This is where I get a little bit cloudy on how soccer works, but the current maximum is $75,000 for NWSL, which they just had to, scratch for during their collective bargaining agreement. Yeah. But because of allocation money, she's able to bump that up to $281,000 a year, which is more than the $250,000 that Alex Morgan and Rapinoe make, which are, you can't get bigger names in women's soccer. But I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the women's national team because she just got called up last month.
Yep.
And Rodman is a name in sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't know who Dennis Rodman is? Carmen Electra, all that good stuff. But yeah, I think it's a tremendous advancement for women's sports, not just soccer. I think across the board, it's going to have a ripple effect. There's tremendous opportunity out there for women athletes, especially the upper echelon tier that's out there. I think it's overdue that women get a little bit more credit than what they've gotten in the past. Now, of course, women are never going to make the dollars that men's sports do, simply because the sponsorships and the revenues that's coming in from advertising and television just eclipses anything that women's sports will ever produce. But I think there is room for women athletes to advance their cause and to make the money that they deserve to make, because I don't think, for the most part, women are being paid what they deserve. Because they do bring in quite a bit of revenue in their respective sports. So I'm very happy to see this for the good of all women when it comes to sports.
And you do need big stars, out there. And the NWSL, after what they went through last season, needs good publicity. So that's a great story. So yeah, Trinity Rodman, only 19, just named to the national team. So we'll see what she does. Okay, so now we are to the cards portion of Cards to Yards.
Yeah.
What's coming out?
Well, we've got next week Rookie and Stars Panini Football. So
that's a throwback.
that's a throwback. It's a product that's been around for a couple of decades now. So we're really looking forward to seeing the new crop of rookies and that stuff coming here. And then we've got Topps Formula One racing. We've only got a handful of those coming next week. It is a molten hot product right now. Anything Formula One, I don't care what it is super hot. Formula One is an up-and-coming juggernaut, I believe, in the United States. They're in the process of building tracks in several locations throughout the U.S. to help build interest and bring some races over here. So come on in and get your Formula One packs or boxes. It's not going to last long. So really looking forward to that. And I'd also like to mention we've got a new product out, and it's called Flex NBA. It's a really cool product. It's kind of an incorporation of a board game / collectible cards / NFTs all rolled into one. This company, see if we can get a little shot of it real quick here. But that is the NBA Flex right there. And what it is, like I said, it incorporates NFTs and some technology that's fairly new, where you can either play it, in person, or you can take the tiles that are included with the base set, and then you can also add on to that with additional players. What it is you've got these tiles, they've got a special code on it, you scan them, you register them on the website, and then it turns into an NFT, so no one else can own it. They're all one of a kind. There's all different types of levels for the players, anywhere from just a standard to up to an MVP card, which you can get one in every 24 packs when you're purchasing additional cards. But what happens is when you register that, you're playing online, an animation pops up with your player that's completely unique. You can have combination skills that are hidden that you don't know about when you put two players together that are on the same team. It's just a really, really cool new product, and we would love for you guys to come in the store, and we'll show you how to play and introduce you to it. I think it's going to be here to stay. A lot of fun to play, and I think it's a really good item to bring in some younger people into the hobby, and that it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. You can get into this for $60-$70 and then add on as you go and get better and learn more about the sport. So that's what we've got going on at the stadium this week and next week. So come on by, and we'll be happy to show you some new stuff.
I know they're called tiles, but a 3-word description in my brain is really fancy pogs.
Yeah, really fancy pogs, but their description is a flexagon. So
right.
Brand new terminology, flexagon.
And also, I think this product's going to be hot because there's that added level of collectability, like you said, the tiers, but people are already sending these out to be graded.
Yeah, they are.
And of course, you have player, collectors out there that they're going to want their favorite players. And
what's cool about it is you can get a player, and you can build on top of that player with different skills and abilities and add-ons and this and that. So it increases the value of these players, and so that's just another avenue. There's different types of collectible. There's the NFT with all the enhancements and improvements to a specific player that increases their value, and then there is also going to be some autograph opportunities in the future where they have them autographed right at the source, send them out, they're certified. And so I can see some specialized slabs being created for these tiles, and it's going to be around for a while. So
NBA Flex.
Looks
interesting.
Yep.
Well, that's so we're looking forward to Super Bowl 56.
Heck yeah.
Final prediction.
I think Cincinnati's going to take it. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. My prediction is 34-27 Cincinnati.
Wow.
Book it.
I'm going to go 24-20.
All right.
Cincinnati.
All right. I like it.
And I'm just really looking forward to the halftime show.
Heck yeah. Me too.
But it's going to be awesome. Well, thanks, Preston. Of course, we're talking about sports and sports cards, and sometimes we'll drop words or phrases that some people might be, I don't think we use this. I did talk about soccer. I could have said one touch in soccer for any soccer players out there. But one word you hear a lot, in addition to top loaders and other types of protective stuff, is one touch. A one touch is an acrylic case with a magnetic seal at the top, and people these have caught on really big to display people's prized possessions. So those are one touches. You can find those here in your store.
Absolutely.
Those are quite a commodity. One of the things that was in high demand the last year and a half during the pandemic. So thanks again, Preston. I'm Mark for Adventure Stadium here at Adventure Begins Comics and Games. Back to you, Chaz.
Utilizing Cryptozoic's premium trading card brand, the 2022 Crisis on Infinite Earths highlights the CW's 5-episode television crossover featuring many DC heroes. And it's a box I'm looking forward to diving into when it drops on January 19th. With 6 packs per box, featuring thick, glossy gold deco foil designs, the base set offers 50 cards with images from the shows and is a must-have for DC fans. There are also limited foil versions and printing plates, as well as 1 parallel card per box. In addition, the Star Power Chase insert averages about 1 per box, so that's 1 per 6 packs if you're paying attention. Hits should fall at least 2 per box, including an expected autograph and sketch card. All right. The 2022 Cryptic Crisis on fucking shit. The 2022 Cryptozoic Crisis on Infinite Earths checklist includes on-card autographs from various cast members. Possible options consist of a single autograph, a dual autograph, and a single... Nope. Let's redo that part. Possible options consist of a single autograph, dual autographs, and autograph sketch cards. These will fall into that 1 per box average situation. Also averaging 1 for every 6 packs are the... Fuck you. Also averaging 1 per box are the hand-drawn sketch cards and authenticated. What up, Cap? Also averaging 1 per box are the hand-drawn sketch cards as well as the authentic wardrobe cards. That's fun. Also averaging 1 per box are the hand-drawn sketch cards as well as the authentic wardrobe cards. These are pieces of fabric that were on film. When breaking When breaking a Crisis on Infinite Earths box, on average, you should be looking for an autograph card, a relic card, sketch card, Star Power insert, a base parallel, and don't forget, man, it drops on January 19th. So, I should redo that last part because we're almost done. When breaking a Crisis on Infinite Earths hobby box, on average, you should be looking for at least 1 autograph card, a relic card, a sketch card, a power insert, and a base parallel. Now, again, man, it drops on January 19th. If we don't have it in store, man, give us a call. Maybe we can get it in for you. If we can't, well, maybe we'll get some later on. Well, gang, that's all for today's episode. So join us next week. Cars to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium and the Adventure Begins. Again, we're located off 1488 and Woodland Square Boulevard. See you next time.